Remember when Zsa Zsa Gabor was engaged to Porfirio Rubirosa but ended up marrying Herbert Hutner instead? I do. Porfirio, or Ruby as Zsa Zsa called him, was married to socialite and philanthropist Barbara Hutton for less than 2 months, but it was long enough for her to spend buckets of money on him, which included the purchase of 15 polo ponies and an airplane. After the end of his marriage, he begged Zsa Zsa to marry him yet again. This time, though, she said yes. Her mother, Jolie, told her that Ruby wasn't for her. They were too different. He loved to drink and lived for the nightlife, where Zsa Zsa liked to turn in early and at most enjoyed a simple white wine spritzer. She was with Ruby for 2 years before being offered a role in The Death of a Scoundrel with her ex-husband, George Sanders. Ruby told her that if she took the role, they were done. She took the role. But then she met Herbert Hutner. Herbert was born on December 21st, 1908 in New York City. He had a law degree from Columbia and was a private investment banker whose career had begun on Wall Street. He had only one marriage under his belt when he met Zsa Zsa at a dinner for St. Jude's Hospital. Again, at the Plaza. They went on 3 dates before he messengered over a 23-carat blue and white diamond ring. She had been with her masseuse at the time who tried on the ring and declared, "This ring, we can't give back." I mean, Zsa Zsa's father had said to never accept anything under 10 carats. Well, she wasn't sure if she'd ever be able to make him happy. She said yes to his proposal anyway. The pair were married on November 5th, 1962 in a civil ceremony in New York 2 weeks after they first met. But she hadn't married Herbert for love. No, she married him because he was kind. He had been there for her after Magda had fallen and hit her head, putting her in a coma. He was also kind to her daughter, Francesca. That kindness, though, stripped Zsa Zsa of her will to work. She said she was never the kind of woman who could be satisfied by money, only excitement and achievement. While her mother, Jolie Gabor, had told her to stay away from Ruby, she had pushed Zsa Zsa towards Herbert, telling her 45-year-old daughter that it was time to settle down with a man who wasn't a challenge, a man who would love her unconditionally. And Herbert was that for Zsa Zsa. He didn't just love her, he idolized her. And that bored her. She knew that it wouldn't last, but what judge would grant her a divorce based on the grounds of mental kindness? He did sometimes attempt to interfere with her work, though, offering her double her salary if she didn't take a role. She still took jobs despite this, including one role opposite Tony Curtis. The project filmed in Cannes, and Herbert went with her. He didn't even care that she was half naked in bed with Tony, something that would have driven George or Ruby up the wall. He just loved being married to her. But Zsa Zsa thrived in chaos, and his kindness and consideration drove her into a depression. She didn't want to hurt him by divorcing him, so she tried setting him up with other women. As one does. But her plan failed. The rift in their marriage had become so obvious that infamous celebrity gossip columnist Hedda Hopper commented that if Herbert let Zsa Zsa go for 1 day of his life, he would never see her again. He knew it too, and clung by her side as much as he could, at least until he broke his leg. Zsa Zsa was due to fly to Texas for a museum opening, which Herbert was supposed to escort her to. It was for charity, so he urged her to go along without him and to take her friend Elizabeth instead. Not Taylor. Not Elizabeth Taylor. Apparently, he misjudged sending Elizabeth along with his wife, as once they landed in Texas, Elizabeth was dead set on finding Zsa Zsa a date. And find her a date she did, declaring that she had actually found Zsa Zsa's next husband. That's how Joshua Cosden Jr. ended up in Zsa Zsa's drawing room. She was smitten with Joshua, and while they only kissed goodnight, she couldn't get him out of her mind. She gave him her number before returning to LA. He called her, asking her to leave Herbert and marry him. Jolie scolded her daughter. "You'll never find another Herbert Hutner. Don't make the mistake of divorcing him." Francesca was equally as upset with her mother once she revealed her desire for divorce, saying that no one had ever loved her like Herbert did. Even her ex-husband, Conrad Hilton, liked Herbert. But all those things that made everyone else adore him bored Zsa Zsa to tears. She didn't love him with a grand passion. She had to follow her deeply misguided heart. And so she waited until poor Herbert was stuck on a plane with her while traveling home from a trip to New York to tell him that she wanted a divorce and that she intended on marrying Joshua. He cried so hard that one of the flight attendants had to intervene. The pair were divorced on March 3rd, 1966. He married Julie Redding on November 28th, 1969, and continued using his wealth to support the arts. He was a co-founder of the Los Angeles Music Center. He remained married to Julie until his passing on December 7th, 2008, just 2 weeks shy of his 100th birthday. Now, if you're wondering if Zsa Zsa followed through on her intent to marry Joshua, then I guess you'll just have to follow along for the next video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this one. If you did, please save and share with your friends. It really does help spread the good word of the cult. And don't forget to follow me over on the gram and the tube of the U, just in case, because, who knows what's going on with this. Good day, and May the cults be with you.